Este es el corrido del 1884, cuando entró el río en Tomé, entró por ahí por Isleta y llegó hasta Tomé y la Constancia, donde entró otra vez al río. Este lo compuso el difunto Manuel Vigil, conocido como Lelito. Fue el primer hombre que habló inglés en el condado de Valencia, casi se puede decir. Fue a St. Louis a la edad de 8 años, o volvió a la edad de 15 hablando bien inglés, porque se enfermó y se quedó algunos años con una familia irlandesa allí. Criaba caballos y todos les ponía nombre americano, como Brown y Charlie, etcétera, 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 etcétera.
Un momentito. Diga en inglés, por favor.
Oh, this is the corrido, or Indita, of 1884. It was composed by Manuel Vigil, known as Lelito. He was perhaps the first, or one of the first boys who learned English in Valencia County. He went to St. Louis on the Santa Fe Trail as a baker boy, or a kitchen helper, at the age of 8, and fell sick with a fever in St. Louis, and he lived with an Irish family for some years. He came back at the age of 15, speaking fluent English, and he raised horses, good horses, and he always gave them English names like Brown and Charlie and Molly, etc., etc., and Jenny. I remember. I was only a very little boy. I remember him very little, and I heard him sing this song.
Now, wait a minute. Tell a little about the circumstances. This is about a flood in Tomé.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Tell
sir.
about
The big flood of 1884.
Do you know anything about it except what the song tells?
Yes, sir, I do.
Tell us a little about it.
Well, in Tomé, Father Rayer had to move out and go to the foothills, and the church was abandoned. Everything was abandoned. They were afraid the church was going to be carried away, and they tried to carry away the Santo Entierro, the oldest statue in the church, of the dead Christ. Now, the legend goes, and people believe it, and my grandfather, even my mother, always told us how 11 strong men tried to lift it, and it weighs only about 90 pounds at most, and they couldn't. They couldn't lift it. It was in the urna, in the coffin. And they couldn't lift it, and Father Rayer told him, leave it right there. It means that the church is not going to be destroyed. And it wasn't. The water came right up to the walls, but the church did not fall, not that time. And they lived up in the hills for a long time. And history tells us how Father Rayer was given authority. He was made the one to give out flour and food, sort of a point of distribution. And he got into a little trouble that way. He was accused of keeping most of the flour, but he proved later on, with receipts he had, that he had bought enough flour and wheat for all his household, and that the distribution was perfectly honest. It came about because someone tried to accuse him of that. Anyway, he met the Methodist bishop.
Amy? No.
No, the Methodist bishop here in Albuquerque, Harwood. And a Protestant periodical carried this criticism of Father Rayer. Anyway, one time he met Bishop Harwood's son on the train coming from Isleta to Albuquerque, and he showed him these receipts, and Mr. Harwood, or Reverend Harwood, the bishop's son anyway, agreed that Father Rayer had been very honest, and he said, I'm sorry that it was carried in our paper, but it isn't our fault. It's one of your own parishioners who sent this this report, and it was in verse, but nobody was ever able to get a hold of it because they destroyed it. And but Father Rayer read it. It was published in a Methodist paper. Yes, sir.
Now let me ask you, what do you understand by the term Indita? This is not called a corrido, it's called an Indita.
It's called an Indita. In those days, instead of calling it a song or just a plain song, they called it an Indita. It's a song. In other words,
What's the difference?
dedicated to one of the Indian girls around here. They just
Is that
coined. They
is that
coined
the only difference? It's a corrido dedicated to an Indian
to
girl?
an Indian girl, and they call it an Indita. That's all. I don't know where they got the idea,
Well,
but it's
often I've heard Inditas that have actually an Indian refrain.
well. This one also. This does not have Indian words in it, but the melody is Indian, definitely.
And why do you do it with a drum? Is this the way you learned it?
No, he didn't play a drum. He was a very old man, long beard, but I do it with a drum because I got this drum as a gift from a friendly Indian. Many Indians are my friends, and it comes from Cochiti, and I love to do it with a drum.
Well, let's hear it. The corrido, the Indita of 1884.
La Indita del 84. Año de 1884 ha llegado, año de 1884 ha llegado. Una creciente voraz que no la hemos soportado, una creciente voraz que no la hemos soportado. Ay, Indita y del Río Grande, ay, qué ingrata te estás mostrando. Y ay, mire esas pobres mujeres, ay, con sus colchones rodando. El río se nos rompió viniendo la luz del día, el río se nos rompió viniendo la luz del día. Dios me lo perdonará, lo rompió Jesús García, Dios me lo perdonará, lo rompió Jesús García. Ay, Indita del Río Grande, ay, qué ingrata te estás mostrando. Ay, mire esas pobres mujeres, ay, con sus colchones rodando. El Señor Don Jesús Vaca y nos ha dejado confuso. El Señor Don Jesús Vaca y nos ha dejado confuso. Si se quedan en Valencia y no se encuentra refugio, si se quedan en Valencia y no se encuentra refugio. Ay, Indita y del Río Grande, ay, qué ingrata te estás mostrando. Ay, mira esas pobres mujeres, ay, con sus colchones rodando. Toda la gente se fue de Valencia para el cerro, toda la gente se fue de Valencia para el cerro. No se han quedado en la casa más que el gatito y el perro, no se han quedado en la casa más que el gatito y el perro. Ay, Indita y del Río Grande, ay, qué ingrata te estás mostrando. Ay, mire esas pobres mujeres, ay, con sus colchones rodando. Salgan todos los correos, los de a caballo y de a pie, salgan todos los correos, los de a caballo y de a pie. Lleven pronto la noticia que el río va pa' Tomé, lleven pronto la noticia que el río va pa' Tomé. Ay, Indita del Río Grande, ay, qué ingrata te estás mostrando. Y ay, mire esas pobres mujeres, ay, con sus colchones rodando. Sale el padre Rayer con toda su compatriota, sale el padre Rayer con toda su compatriota. Todos los días preguntan, no se ha caído la parroquia, todos los días preguntan, no se ha caído parroquia. Ay, Indita del Río Grande, y ay, qué ingrata te estás mostrando. Y ay, mire estas pobres mujeres, ay, con sus colchones rodando. That's it.
Edwin, I noticed that you got a different sound by pounding on different parts of the drum. First you'd pound on one side, the first beat, and then the second two on the other side of the center. Did you learn that from the Indians, or?
Yes, sir, I did, and I'm doing it more so today because my drum is not in its best shape. Some of the kids put two pencils in it, inside of it, and I'll never be able to get them out, and something damp also. And it's not sounding as good as it usually sounds. And that's why I was doing it. But I did learn that from the Indians, yes, sir.